All right, let's see now. Technical difficulties getting started here tonight. Hi, I'm Natalie McLean, editor of Canada's largest wine review site at nataliemclean.com. And tonight on the Sunday Sipper Club, it's open mic night. You can ask me anything wine related that you like, from what's this bottle worth to what would you pair with this wine or this food. We've also got a special guest coming on. She's one of the most active members of our community, Lise Gagne, and she's very active on social media and in this group. So she'll be coming on later to talk about her recent trip to Prince Edward County. She's got some of her favorite wines with her and some tips on visiting Prince Edward County. I've got one of mine here from Rose Hall Run, and now I'm just going to check to see if anybody can hear and see me tonight because I'm in a new location. This is a temporary location. Not the ideal recording studio, but if you can hear and see me, I'd really appreciate if you post in the comments below. Yes, you're live. We can see you. We can hear you. I think this is working. Oh, good. Thank you, Lise. It's always nice when your guest is here. So I know you're here with me, Lise. And I'm sure there's lots of others. Good, Bob. Thank you. The sound is great. You know, guys, so let me just put these bottles down before I knock something over. So our office recently moved, and my home, they are very much connected this week. So I am in a temporary location. So thus the things that I most advise my guests to avoid: shiny background, average lighting, and I've got this camera set up on a couple of moving boxes, so everything could topple anytime. I hope you'll bear with me. We're in transition. I will be in my new office and my new home, I'm hoping, by mid-July. So fingers crossed. Paul is here, coming in loud and clear. Great, Paul. So guys, I love my regulars who chime in and let me know you're here. I love this. I missed you guys last week, and if you were following, it's because I was in the middle of the move that I did not do a Sunday Sipper Live last week. So anyway, as I said, it's open mic night, and I've got lots of questions for you guys because we are sort of going to gear up into season 2, if you want to characterize it as seasons. I'm going to tell you some of the really neat guests I've already lined up for July, but I want to hear from you. Who do you want to see on the Sunday Sipper Club? Because I think we're starting to form this format or create this format where we have our guest on probably for 20 to 30 minutes at the beginning, and then we have a free-for-all, just us discussion, 15 minutes, or as long as you want to stay online. As long as there are questions, I will stay live with you. So do you have, first question, are there people in the world of wine or food, or perhaps even celebrities, if I can snag them, who love wine that you'd love to see interviewed here? Because of course you get direct access to them when I interview them, right? You can ask your questions and so on. Ah, you'd like to see more chefs, Lise. Okay. Any chefs in particular? Just post in the comments below. You know, Jamie Kennedy, one of our more famous Canadian chefs, also has a vineyard in Prince Edward County, as you may be well aware, Lise, because we're going to talk Prince Edward County later in this little chat that we're having. Chuck Hughes. Now remind me, Lise, where Chef Chuck Hughes is from, or what his restaurant. I should know this, I'm sure, but being here in Ottawa, Chuck definitely, I don't think, is here with us. So let me tease you a bit, or not tease you, but reveal. Norm Hardy will be on this show coming up in July. I've got to confirm that, no, the dates are confirmed. It's just in my mind. I've got to remember who is going on which date, but he will be here. And Lise, I know he's a favorite of yours, and you visited him while you were in Prince Edward County. So I can't wait to hear what you think of his wines, Lise. But we'll also be hearing from the man himself in July. I have got Randall Graham of Bonnie Doon in California. And you know, I'm really after not just the great winemakers who produce great wines, but also the people with fascinating stories. Randall Graham is mind-blowing and amazing as a storyteller. He's funny, he's smart, and we're going to hear lots from him. One of the most shared posts on social media for me uh, is one that a video interview I did probably 3 years ago with Paul Mabray. And he's from California. He was originally with Vintank. He's been with a number of consultancies in the wine industry, but we talked about the title of the post is, Do Wineries Need Social Media? That thing has been shared like, I don't know, 94 times on Facebook alone and all over the place. We're going to update that discussion. Paul is going to join me again in July. And one of the other things that I want to do is bring on Bob Cabral, who produced the Game of Thrones wines. Yes, if you're a Game of Thrones fanatic like I am, season 7 is it? That's just coming out on HBO. I want to get him on here to talk about the wines before the show starts, I hope. That may not work out, but Game of Thrones wines, as you may know, are available through the LCBO right now. They've got the white, I think 2 whites, white and a red, available in stores, and then I think the upper tier Cabernet that's about $80 is online only, and there's only 200 cases produced. So I want to get him. He's agreed. We just haven't set a date. So yes. And then my next Sunday Sipper Club. So next Sunday, what is that? The 24th of June. So as we warm up for Canada Day 150, we're going to have Claus Rife. I always want to say Reef, but they say it rhymes with good life. Rife. So from Rife Winery in Niagara, and he's going to be on here. He's one of the pioneers in the industry, and I can't think of a better winemaker to interview as we warm up for our Canada Day celebration. So lots on the go, but I want to know who you want to hear from. So let me dive back down into the comments. That's why I'm looking down here. My setup isn't ideal, but bear with me. Okay, Lise, both Quebec, Chuck, whoops, you just disappeared. You're going to have to post that again, Lise, sorry. Facebook allows me to see 5 comments at once. Bob is saying, some restaurants have incredible cellars. I'd love a live tour of one. Thousands of bottles. How do they select? Bob, that's a great suggestion. I love that. And you know, I've had a couple of sommeliers on in the past, but let's get more sommeliers on, especially those who are managing large lists. And I don't know if they can take their camera and give us a little tour as we're talking. We'll see what technologically is possible, but that is a great suggestion, Bob. And remind me, Bob, where you're logging in from, and more importantly, what's in your glass tonight. Lise, you'd like to see Zach Brown. Now, is Zach Brown a chef, Lise? Remind me who he is. I definitely know who Kevin O'Leary is. I video interviewed Kevin O'Leary because, of course, he has his own line of wines, and he has dabbled in politics recently, so let's get him back on here because he is a lively interview. Of course, he was on CBC a long time with Amanda Lang on the news, and then he now, I believe, is with CTV. I'm not sure what his affiliations are right now, but he would be a good interview. He'd be lively. Of course, he's been on Dragon's Den and Shark's Tank and all the rest. Rife, oh, big heart for Rife from Bob. Excellent. Okay, Lise, because the comments are flowing now, I'm seeing bits and parts. So they make Beaujolais Nouveau and it's good. Is that Zach Brown? Are you talking about? Zach Brown is a musician. Gotcha. Bob Levesque. Oh, you're in Brampton, Bob. Great. Excellent. And you're drinking an Aussie Shiraz. Which one? Don't make us ask. No, it begs the question. We want to know, which Shiraz are you drinking tonight, Bob? Dave Head is here. Excellent. We were at the Prune in Stratford this week. Great list of local wines. So the Prune, I'm assuming, is a restaurant in Stratford, Ontario. And which wine did you choose there, Dave? You and your lovely bride who got married in a vineyard. Rife, says Lise. Okay, gotcha. Oh, okay. Trying to make sense as comments come in because I go from one to the other. So the narrative doesn't stay right here. Paul and Patty from Virginia are here tonight, and they've had several Zach Brown wines. They're all very good. And so what's the winery called? Is Zach Brown the winemaker and the winery is called something else, or are they Zach Brown wines? I should know this, but again, I haven't tasted every wine in the world. All right. Oh, Bob is drinking Sidewood from Adelaide. Okay, guys. Well, let me start sharing some of the wines that are all around me. I'm hesitant to even move this camera for fear of toppling multiple things over. I've got such a mix of stuff here, from moving boxes to an egg poacher to the screw pull, rabbit ear wine opener. There's just so much stuff here. Anyway, I can't wait till I'm all settled. So one of the things, or one of the bottles that have come in over the transom, as they say in the publishing industry, they get manuscripts. So I published 2 books, so I deal with Random House, and I hear the terminology. It came in over the transom. So in manuscript, and they call it, when they pile all the manuscripts in a pile for most likely a junior person to wade through all of them, they call it the slush pile. Well, I call mine the slushy pile. All the wines come in and need to be reviewed, and this is such a small place that I'm having to go through all of the samples fairly quickly. So what I've been tasting tonight is, I believe you don't pronounce the P in Pfaffel, but I am loving this. It is a Gruner Veltliner, another mouthful. Gruner Veltliner, which is the grape, the iconic white grape of Austria. This is not yet in the LCBO, but they're going for a listing. But I'm a fan, a huge fan of Austrian white wines, especially from Gruner Veltliner. This one feels like asparagus dipped in melon juice sprinkled with white pepper. I hope that sounds appetizing because I meant it to be. But excuse me, it's a light white, so it's only 12.5% alcohol. Usually Gruners don't have any oak, and they're simply perfect with vegetarian dishes, shellfish, seafood, summer fare, grilled veggies. Let's see what else would I put that with. Soups, even roast chicken, all kinds of things. Okay, and Lise is saying Zach Brown Band. He's the lead singer and has his own wine line. Lise, you're so #trending. Where, I'm sorry, I'm feeling old now. Where is this young man, Zach Brown, based? Is he Canadian? Is he American? How do we find Mr. Zach Brown? Let's get him on, especially if he's interesting and his wines are good. So what else have I been into lately? Rose Hall Run, Pinot Noir from Prince Edward County. I love the, I don't know if you can see this, but the subtitle, or whatever you call it, again, publishing world, is Defiant. Now that always appeals to me. Defiant. Revolution. I'm not doing what you tell me. Would all be equally good subtitles. So this is a Pinot Noir. Beautiful cranberry fresh, easygoing, medium-bodied. Again, very food versatile, from plank salmon to grilled chicken to all sorts of things. So if you're just joining us right now on the Sunday Sipper Club, please just give us a little shout out below. Where are you from? What's your city? And what's in your glass? If nothing is in your glass lately, what's been in your glass recently that you've loved? What wine have you had and just absolutely loved? Oh, thanks, Lise. You'll send me his information. Perfect. Thank you. Paul, Zach Brown is not the winemaker. Okay, so he owns the winery, a so-called celebrity label. Don't have a bottle on hand at the moment to see, but if his name is on it, okay. Dave Matthews, yes, is a musician and has a winery and is not the maker. Dreaming Tree, you're right. We should get also Dave Matthews on here. See, the reason why is I'm not trying to chase celebrities, but I want to interview people who have stories, because I think wine is a story, and I'm sure every wine has a story, or many of them, but there are some people who are more articulate or who have a more interesting story, frankly. And those are the people we want to have here with us on the Sunday Sipper Club so that we can both learn and be entertained. Because my personal belief is you won't learn if you're not being entertained. If you are not engrossed with a story, if you're not laughing at some points, you're not learning. You're tuning out. It's like there's a lot of other things to do. Go watch Netflix, for goodness sakes, or whatever. Okay, Dave, we just opened the Quinta. Let me see. Ooh, they're going fast. The Quinta dos Marcos from Douro, from Portugal. So it sounds like you're opening a big red Portuguese wine. What do you think of it, Dave? Let us know. Is it in the LCBO or is this a seller special for you? Okay, Paul says Zach Brown is American. I think he's based in Nashville. Nashville. Country rock music. Interesting. Hey, Christopher's here. Excellent. Joining from Barrie. Enjoying a... Now, this is something you're making me pronounce here, Chris, because I'm trying to look at a tiny screen way down here. I'm in this new setup here, temporary setup, so I think I need some reading spectacles. Van Alstyne, red. From Carlo. Oh, gotcha, Carlo. So I believe that is Prince Edward County. You're on theme. You're on theme, Chris. What do you think of that wine? How would you describe it? All right, cool. So we've got Barrie, we've got Sudbury, we've got Niagara, we've got Virginia. I'm trying to remember who else is here, but anyway, it's always a nice mix, a nice crowd. Yeah, so what else have I been into lately? I think the Tattanger or Tattanger with the cool kids is always one of the best value champagnes on the market, but I have to also share with you this, excuse the non-technical topper. When I taste wines, there are a couple people nearby, well-loved, who come and take the wines from me so that I'm not wasting them. And they're wine writers as well, and they come and they take the wines to their location and they taste them there so that each of the wines get more reviews and more perspective than just mine. So I think that's a good thing. Anyway, that's why I've got this ugly thing. But one of the wines I recently tasted and is coming out in the LCBO, I believe it's July 8th, is called Chevalier. Monopole means usually single vineyard or single estate. This is actually a Burgundian wine made from Pinot Noir, and it blew my socks off. It's under $20. For me, the quality, oh, here we are on the back of it. The quality, $16.95. June 24th is the release date in the LCBO. I have not posted it live on the website, but I will very soon. But it just was amazing. If you've got a wedding, a graduation, an anniversary, all of that, you can find wines like this that won't blow your budget, right? I thought it was champagne. I mean, I had to look at the label closely, but it's bone dry, but fleeting notes of field strawberries, all of that goodness. All righty, Gwen is here. Oh, okay. Claire says it's fresh and juicy. Classics collection. You're talking about your Portuguese wine. Okay, excellent. Gwen is here from Ottawa. Hello, Gwen from good old Ottawa and good old Gwen. I mean, good young looking Gwen. All right, what's in your glass tonight, Gwen? Oh, she's already replied. I'm drinking some Cabernet Franc from Prince Edward County. Did you guys all coordinate? Look, I was talking with Lise in Sudbury, who I'm sure does not have tentacles out to various other cities. But you all seem, from Christopher to Gwen to others, you're all drinking Prince Edward County tonight. Or maybe it's just a wave that's come, and its time has come. Prince Edward County, gotta love it. Okay, so Chris says, yes, indeed, you were there 2 weeks ago. Love it. Port style, but we can't call it port. Okay. All right. So, guys, I sort of alluded to this, but Who else would you like to see interviewed in future Sunday Sipper Club sessions? So, as I said, upcoming, we have got Rife Claus. I was calling Claus Rife, but I'm not sure that's his last name. Anyway, Claus, the winemaker, lead winemaker from Rife in Niagara, because we're going to get warmed up for Canada 150 celebrations. I think we will take a pause on July 2nd because past experience has shown me that a long weekend people aren't really dialed in. I like the idea of continuity, but I'm not sure that I'm torn that long weekends really are worth doing. I'm not sure. Let me know. What do you think? I need a life, you need a life, but I want to make sure this works for everyone. So that long weekend, I'm thinking that people are going to be away or just tuned out. Even if you are at home, you're going to be in the backyard with your barbecues. Elaine Bruce is here. Excellent. Elaine from, is it Calgary? I think you're in Alberta, Elaine. WSET3, something like that. Chianti is in her glass, and you love all the wines I recommend. Excellent. Woohoo. Gwen is saying she was in Prince Edward County this weekend, as was Lise, who will be on here very shortly talking about the wines she tasted. Okay, so as I said, upcoming, but who should we have, guys? Post below. What guests do you want to see? Throw it out there because, you know, I'm having amazing luck, I guess, and success with people agreeing to come on and talk to us. We've had some very interesting guests. And what I'm trying to build is a library of resources if you want to learn about wine. So we've had Tim Hanai talking about, you know, your vinotype and tasting and Super Tasters, the myth, to, you know, Joel Peterson of Ravenswood. We've had, I mean, it just goes on. And Sperling with biodynamic wines and all the topics. So think about who would be an interesting storyteller and a topic you really want to dive into, and let's get them on here. So we've got Rife coming up to warm us up for Canada Day. We have got Norm Hardy from Prince Edward County because everybody loves him and he's a wine rock star, and we're going to talk about his wines. We've got Randall Graham from California coming on because, again, he's entertaining and witty, but he makes great wines. He has great insights into the winemaking industry. He's based in California. We've got Paul Mabray, who did one of the most shared videos I've ever done with anybody on why wineries and the wine industry in general needs social media. Who else have I got lined up? And I've got a yes, but not a date from Bob Cabral, who did the Game of Thrones wines. So we want to have our little pre-Game of Thrones party, if you're a fanatic like I am. Okay. Happy 105. Yes, you're in Calgary, Elaine. 150, yes. 105, 150. What's age between us gals, right? How about Malcolm from Enologize on wine education? There's a good suggestion. Malcolm's going to love you for that, Chris. But yes, great suggestion. Let's have him on. Who else? I'm trying to brainstorm. I'm trying to think. There's so many interesting people. I don't know if you'd want, what is his name? Getty from Rush. There's like Sonia Smits, who used to be on Street Legal, and she's associated with Clausen Chase. I don't want to keep it just Canadian. Of course, I lean that way, being a Canadian, but I just want interesting stories. So anyway, I'm going to have a sip, since I haven't had a sip since we started, of this. This is the Pfaffel. Loving this. You got to get on the Austrian Gruner Veltliner train if you're not on it. Light, vibrant. I just say Gruner Veltliner and my mouth waters. So here we go. Great. I should have some slides while I'm slurping, sipping. So I'm going to try, and okay. Wine writers or vintners, Elaine asks. Everybody, Elaine. So for guests, we could have chefs who might be able to share some insider tips about how food and wine work together. We could have sommeliers at famous restaurants. We could have celebrity winemakers. And I'm not talking all celebrity, but in the back of my mind is story, 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 story. For me, storytelling can change culture, change our lives, change what we know faster than anything. We remember the stories we're told. So when I look for a guest, I look for what stories can they share with us, right? So it could be wine writers, it could be vintners, it could be sommeliers, chefs, it could be somebody from another world, a different sphere, who has a special love of wine. I know Wine Spectator magazine often interviews people who have big cellars, which can and can't work out sometimes. I mean, as long as they're interesting, right? You know, not just they have, oh, look at me and my big cellar. I want stories, but usually they have stories if they're that fanatic about collecting wine. How did you get that bottle? You know, what was your most memorable moment? All of that kind of stuff. So we have zipped already to the 25-minute mark, and Miss Lees has been patient. We did a little test call earlier. So Miss Lees, I'm going to try to send you a new link for our Zoom video call. And let's see how this goes. Because I was so impressed with Lees. I've been impressed with her for a long time in terms of her participation in this group, but also her passion for wine. She'll clarify for me when she gets on here, but she's done, I believe, WSET 3. It's either 1 or 3. So I've sent her the link. She's going to try to join me as I have other guests. And but she's always going on these wine trips to learn more. She has an insatiable thirst to learn about wine. And that's, oh, there she is. Ding dong. Oh, look, there she is. Let me see if I can. Hey, Lees, can you hear and see me, Lees? Can you hear and see me? I wonder if we can. Lees, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay, sorry. I think I've got my volume down really far. I don't have you up on screen yet, but let me just turn up my volume. Ding. Sounds like Tinkerbell. Okay, yes. So you are now in my screen, and we see you from here up. That's my fault, not yours. Okay, Lees, wonderful. All right, let me just see if I can move this a little bit. Okay. This is the first time, guys, I've had a guest from our community on. I don't know, Lise, if you can tilt your computer a little bit so that we see more of your chin. It's me in the framing, but I don't know if you can do that.
All I see is your
my dress.
under your.
It's okay. It's okay. What you see, Lise, is different from what everybody else sees. So if you've been watching this Facebook, there you go. Perfect. Stop. That's great. That's perfect, Lise. If you've been watching this Facebook chat so far, Lise, what everybody else sees is what you've been seeing so far. So okay. Ignore what you see. Lise is seeing, I think, my midriff of my dress because it's 2 different cameras. Anyway, Lisa's a cool cat, and she's. Guys, I'm just going to ask, can you hear Lise okay? So Lise, maybe you can share with us, let me refresh the page, what was your most favorite, just start talking maybe about your most favorite winery that you visited in Prince Edward County and why that was. And guys, as she's talking, let us know if you can hear her okay. Take it away, Lise.
That's kind of like asking me about my favorite dog or favorite.
I get it. I
have a couple of favorites, but I've been there a few times now.
Yeah.
And I really like Grange, and I really like Norman Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
And my wild side really likes Hinterland.
Your wild side, woo! All right.
They actually make a really good sparkling Gamay that I really like.
Okay.
And they have this funky tag on it that warns you that this is a baby maker wine.
Really? Do they?
Yeah, it's right here. And when you go to other wineries, they actually tell you, yeah, the baby maker wine. So it's called Ancestral. It's pretty sweet, but I absolutely love it.
Okay.
It has like a warning, side effect. It's really fun.
It's a sparkling, red sparkling, is it?
Yeah, it's a Gamay.
Okay, cool. Let's just see if everybody can hear her. Oh, we can hear Lee's fine. We hear her well. You've got lots of support, Lise. We're all family here, which is fantastic. Lise is very brave. I just sprung this on her this afternoon and said, hey, I'd like to try to have a guest on, or like from our community. Want to do it? And she was game. So who's the dog behind you? We need to know that.
Well, I work for the Canadian Dachshund Rescue. Of course, I have to put a plug in here for that.
Sure.
And I have 2 dogs from there.
Okay.
And one of the foster parents of my first dog, they actually had a dog, Lucky, and he recently passed. So
okay,
that's an image for Lucky.
Aw, that's so sweet. Okay. All right. So you've got Hinterland Lees, and oh, okay. 3 great winery choices there, says Chris. So they're liking your choices. So Lise, tell us about Norm Hardy, because you were telling me a little bit on our test call about that. So what about Norm Hardy?
Well, Norm Hardy is just like, he's just this big guy who's really, he's so happy, and his staff is, it's almost like you're going home for a glass of wine when you go there.
That's so sweet. Yeah.
The food is good. They have outdoor pizza, and they try to incorporate like local salads. So when we were there, they had local asparagus salad, and they're all about just letting what is there speak.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of natural yeast, which I really love.
Okay.
He has a lot of fun young people working there, and there's a lot of good energy. His wines are spectacular.
They are, aren't they?
And I did some barrel testing, which was really fun for me.
They let you into the barrels.
Yeah, I actually did about 12 tastings.
Wow.
And the really fun part about Norm is he's more like, he wants to do the classic stuff like the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noirs, which I love. But some of his younger staff, they want him to venture into new things like blends and things like that. And if you look on his website, they have new blends. One of them that I really like was called Katakaya.
Okay. Is that a translation word?
It's a white.
Katakaya.
Katakaya, I believe, is like limestone.
Oh, okay.
It's like a
okay.
limestone.
Yeah.
And when you go to the wineries there, you see like the soil is not really soil. It's almost like rocks.
Okay.
Crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, and some of the other fun things I did in the barrel testing was that he's doing some what they call skin contact.
Okay.
Like had a Pinot Gris, and it was just beautiful pink. Huh. And a lot of discussion about VQA, not making the VQA, and it's failing the tests.
Okay.
But people really want that stuff, so they're trying to change that, which is really innovative.
Cool. Can you try tilting your computer down a little bit more again? Again, it's me, the framing. There you go. That's it. What is sans soufre or whatever it is?
Oh yeah, sans soufre. So I really know about sulfur a lot because I work in mining, and it's a waste product for us.
You're up in Sudbury, right?
Yeah. So they add sulfur as a preservative in wine, but you probably know way more about that than me. So this was a really fun thing that I tried. It's their Cab Franc sans soufre in French.
Without sulfur.
No sulfur.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough to taste a glass of it with sulfur and a glass without, because they were bottling the next day.
Cool. So you could do side by side. And what did you notice as the difference?
Everything was way brighter without the sulfur. It was like unmuted. It was spectacular.
Cool.
And they make a Chardonnay that's like that available too, and I find it's the same thing. So I was lucky enough to buy a couple of bottles. We had to go back, and it's spectacular. It's like, I try to describe wines like things. So for me, it was like really zingy, and it was really berry bramble and like racy red Corvette-ish. I love that.
Racy red Corvette-ish. I love that, and I love zingy too. That's great. Yeah. You're great at describing. You've just brings to mind. You've done WSET. Which level have you got to so far?
0 levels.
Oh, I thought you'd done WSET 1 or something.
I'm gonna do the level 2, but I have taken some stuff on the side. Okay. But I do a whole lot of reading.
Oh yeah. I
There's
know,
a
I
lot
can
of
tell
watching.
from your comments. I can tell you're so engaged and you're so thirsty to learn, so to speak.
I'm like a sponge.
You are. You're a very
Yeah.
absorptive sponge. And Norm has got that outdoor oven pizza. Did you have some pizza while you were there?
Oh yeah, of course.
Excellent. Did you have
We
a favorite
starved
part?
ourselves so we could,
You
just fill
starved
up.
yourself.
It's
Oh.
delicious. It's like being in Italy.
Yeah, because what I've heard I mean, I've been there too, but what I've heard about his outdoor oven and his pizza is that they adapt the recipe for the pizza crust according to the humidity. So the recipe is adapted to the local conditions, which you were alluding to with the way he deals with his wines, but also his pizza as well, so that it gets the exact, I don't know, rising or whatever leavening agent that will work with the humidity conditions of that day. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool.
It's definitely a must go to.
It is, isn't it? When you're going to Prince Edward County. And let me just check back because I've lost total track of comments here and just doing this. Ah, okay. So Alan Cameron has just tuned in. Baby maker wine, now Dachshunds. Great topic. Yes, we've got it all here, Ellen. Ellen's in Ottawa. Lise, what else were you tasting? You've talked about Norm Hardy and Hinterland. You mentioned one other. What was that one?
Well, I actually went, I think, to 5, but I've been to a lot of them over there.
Okay.
Right now, I'm actually drinking this. It's from Casagia, and
Okay.
it's like an Italian type winery.
Okay.
It's called Embrace 2016. It's a sparkling wine.
Yeah.
But it's made of 100% Riesling, and it's the first time they ever do that.
Oh, all right.
And it kind of reminds me of the Nova 7 without the sweet tart.
Right, from Benjamin Bridge in Nova Scotia. Right.
Yeah.
Like a Moscato type style, light, just a frizzante, not a full sparkler, and just delicate.
Exactly. So it's done in the Charmat method.
Yeah, open tank.
And it's 38 grams of sugar.
Okay.
So it's up there.
Yeah.
But it's lemony and green apple. And so you get hit with like all these different elements of sweet and tart. And it's really good. And I would just want to, like, I'm a big cheese eater, so it would be great with that, obviously. But I think it would be really, really good with a piece of lemon pie.
My goodness gracious. My dear, you've thought these things through. That's great. And Chris is asking any other wineries that you visited. So to wrap things up here, Lise, what other wineries or wines would you recommend trying when someone is in Prince Edward County?
Well, Clawsome Chase is gorgeous. And Rose Hall Run, actually,
yep.
I noticed you had that.
I did, yes, I do.
I drank this week because I had a rough week.
Yes.
And it was really good.
Yeah.
I bought this on our last trip.
Okay.
You gotta go to Grange. It's just absolutely beautiful there.
Grange,
Caroline is there.
Yeah, the Caroline.
And her daughter. So they recently released a different line. It's called Almanac. They have a red and a white.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's a blend. It's something brand new for her to actually join forces with her daughter. There's a couple neat elements on the bottle.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see the little birds.
If you push it over more in front of your face, if you don't mind, that's when we'll see it on the. There we go. And so that's with Maggie, her daughter, Caroline. So the birds. Okay, why are the birds on there?
They're actually hands and birds together.
Oh. Okay.
You can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's a new symbol for them versus the little the barn.
Yep.
And it's to symbolize their new journey. And there's also some interesting information on the bottle in small type print. It says listen well. And when I met with Caroline, she described to me very passionately that she's all about making the wine with the grapes that she gets and not messing with it too much. And I found that really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries to stay as natural as possible.
Yeah.
And her wines are spectacular. Like I love her Brut Rosé and her Rosé and her Cab Franc. It's just gorgeous there.
Yeah, there's so much
Another place to go that's really nice is Huff Estates. They do some really cool stuff. Rieslings. they do like somewhat of a, it's not an ice wine, it's an early ice wine. It's called First Frost. Delicious with cheese.
Mm. Wow. Did you have lunch there? Did they, oh yeah, there it is. Did you have lunch on
Well,
their patio there? Yeah.
no, I didn't, but they also have like accommodations there,
Right.
and they're really passionate about art. So they have this cool outdoor art like yard,
Yeah.
and it's a nice
I
place to
think they
go as
call it
well.
Eno Gallery or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a great
In,
place to visit, Prince Edward County. And then you've got the sand dunes and the beach and everything else. So you've got the guide there.
there's in the new LCBO book,
Yep. Oh, you've got it there. Okay. Excellent. Got a
there's
map and
there are
everything.
some wineries that are not on here.
Okay.
And some of them are really cool to visit, like Long Dog Winery.
Yeah,
They
Long
make an
Dog.
excellent Pinot Noir. Like
Yeah.
I just love that place. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But like I
Absolutely.
mean, you just and there's so many local food things and local popcorn growers and
Popcorn growers.
mustard makers
Mustard.
and
Yeah. And cheese makers. There's a lot of artisanal cheese makers there. Oh,
yeah.
hey, you
There's a
should.
gorgeous route to go up to South Bay where some of the grapes are grown, especially for Huff.
Okay.
And you basically drive on the coastline, and the views are spectacular. And there's a really neat thing over there where there's multiple barns with these large signs, or like quilts.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of a fun thing to find them as you're driving, and it's really fun.
Awesome. Wow, you're getting some great comments here, Lise. Chris says, did you try the new Passamento wine at Casa Day?
Yeah, I love that place. It's a surprisingly large red for that area, and
Yeah,
it's
it
really
is. Right. Yeah, for such a cool
love
climate.
it.
Bonnie O'Connor from Nova Scotia. Hey, Natalie, enjoying the conversation. Alan Cameron, love Lisa's descriptors. Fascinating guest. Very knowledgeable. Good choice. Well, thank you, Lise, and thank you, Alan. This is fantastic, Lise. You're amazing. Right on the spot. She just agreed to do it this afternoon. So, Lise, anything before we close off that you would suggest that people do, visit, try, whatever, when it comes to Prince Edward County?
Well, I think the area has a lot to offer. So whether you're a camping type, whether you're a foodie type, or you just like to walk down the old downtown, look at the shops, eat, like there's so many things to look at. One of the things that we really like is the beaches over there because
Mm.
they're almost like going to Mexico. The sand is just amazing.
It is, isn't it? The
So
white,
we
pure
love that.
sand. Yeah. And I found a lot of the beaches weren't that crowded, so it was
Yeah,
pretty fantastic that way too. Not
yeah.
overdeveloped. Anyway, thank you so much, Lise, for joining us tonight. So I'll say cheers to you. I'll raise a glass.
Sante.
Sante, Samasha. And I will close off our part of this conversation. And guys, stay with me. I will just have some closing comments before we end the Sunday Sipper Club. But Lise, thank you so much for being such a valuable and active member of our community. I appreciate it.
Thanks for including me.
Okay, take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye. Okay, guys. So here we are back here, and we're just okay. Let me just refresh because we're going to wrap this up soon. Again, this was kind of our mid-season break here tonight to try to regroup and find out what do we want to do, how do we want to take this going forward. Marilyn Bergeron. Marilyn, where are you logging in from? Great guest. I'm glad you liked her, Marilyn. I think she's pretty special. It's a pretty special woman. Where are you logging in from and what's in your glass? And Elaine, do you have a favorite Okanagan wine? So I'm sure Lise will log in, back in again. She probably closed off Facebook while she was talking because we wanted to focus on the conversation. But she probably will get back to you on that. So guys, I've kind of explained or outlined the guests I have coming up. I would love to know who else in the wine world you would love to hear and see from. You get direct access, you get to ask them questions, we all get to learn, and more importantly, we're entertained with stories, and that's how we learn, I think. So Not sure I have a lot more other than I will try to update our upcoming posts and everything else. I do have a library. Let me post that right now while I've got it, because I know I did copy and paste this. So let me just see. Yeah, there. I just posted all the links to upcoming shows, previous shows that you can watch. But please do comment in the comments below. What do you want to see? Who do you want to see? What do you want to learn about? I am loving this format, but I want some guidance from you in terms of where you want to take it, because this is your show as much as it is mine. We create this together. So next week, as I said, we'll be here with Klaus from Rife in Winery, Rife and the Good Life, because we're going to get warmed up for Canada Day celebrations. We're going to get our game on for Canadian wine, celebrate July 1st. So that's it, I think. I think I will sign off right now because it's been, my goodness, 45 minutes. Time does fly when I'm talking nonstop. Thank you for sticking with me again this week, and I appreciate it. And please, I will jump in to the comments after this has ended, as will Lee's, because we value, your comments, your suggestions. I want to hear from you. And we will see you next week, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Toronto, New York time. We're here on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube live stream. We are also on Twitter via Periscope video. And I always post all of these videos on the blog at nataliemclean.com/blog. So you'll see it there as well. Okay, cheers. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening.